Hi and hello to everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about the bipolar junction transistor or simply BJT. Here we will be seeing the types of BJT, that is your NPN transistor and PNP transistor, and simply we will explain an overview of how a BJT is constructed and basics regarding the BJT and its biasing, and three types of configuration: common emitter, common base, common collector, CE, CB and CC configuration. And we will be explaining how a CE configuration is used as an amplifying circuit. Welcome to the lecture. Before I start this lecture, I want to really place my thanks to these great people who has contributed in the field of electronics. First, I want to thank Professor Thomas L. Floyd. He has written so many fantastic books, right? Around 13 to 15 books he has written, mostly in electronics and digital electronics. These books are essential for any electronics engineer. And the other professor is Professor Robert L. Boylston. He is a Robert L. Boylston. These two professors' contribution, along with Millman and Halkias. So the good thing about these books is they won't bombard you with the great equations, right? They will explain with simple equations and simple theory, such that the basic ideas in electronics will lay foundation while learning. These are the good books. Okay, electronics by Floyd. So you can see the name here: Thomas L. Floyd and Robert L. Boylston. These books are very fantastic books. I have taken the content from those books for this lecture. First, let me start with what is BJT. BJT stands for bipolar junction transistor. It is constructed of three doped semiconductors separated by two PN junction. Okay, if you look here, so this is your emitter, base and collector. Emitter, base and collector. So emitter contact is taken here. Here the base contact. This is the collector contact. Okay, right. So we can say it is an emitter, base, collector. Base is between the emitter and collector. Okay, so how many terminals we have here? Three terminals. This is the emitter terminal. This is the base terminal. This is the collector terminal. They are metallized contacts. Okay, so we know any semiconductor can be either N type or P type. Right? If it is emitter is N, base is P, collector is N, we say it is an NPN transistor. Similarly, if the emitter is P, this is E for emitter, B for base, C for collector. If the emitter is P material, base is N material, collector is P material, then we can say it is an PNP transistor. Okay, so bipolar junction transistors are two types. One is NPN, another is PNP. Okay, so what we have here, we have two PN junctions, right? P and N, there is a junction. This junction is called base collector junction because this junction is between base and collector. We have another junction here. This is between base and emitter. So this junction is called base emitter junction. That is why it is called bipolar junction transistor. Okay, right? And these are the symbols. Right, see what symbol we are using. Conventional current direction. Current always flows in electronics, the whole current will be flowing, right? So why this is an NPN transistor, the meaning is collector is N, base is P, this is N. Okay, so here if you take, this is PNP transistor, PNP. Right? If you take a diode, this is a diode, we know this is your anode, this is your cathode, this is your P material, this is your N material. Okay, what about the current flow? Current flow is from P to N. This is for a diode which is flowing from P to N, right? Similarly, if you take an NPN transistor, the current is from P to N. You can see the arrow direction is from P to N. From the current, if the arrow is from P to N or from the base to the emitter, we can say it is an NPN transistor. If you look here, it is also from P. P is the emitter, and this current is flowing into the base, which is the N. Okay, so arrow is from P to N, right? So if the emitter, the arrow is going, means that is an PNP transistor. Based on the arrow direction, we can identify whether it is an NPN and PNP. Right? Look for the arrow direction is always from P to N. Right? If the arrow is like this, base is P, emitter is N. right? The arrow is flowing inwards, emitter is P, base is N, so it's a PNP transistor, right? So this is the symbol for an NPN and PNP transistor. Next thing, we'll be seeing transistor biasing. What is biasing? Biasing is nothing but giving external DC voltage for its operation, right? Any electronic devices needs the external voltage for its operation, right? Such applying of external voltage is called biasing. What we do by biasing? Biasing can be of two types. One is forward bias, another is reverse bias. For a transistor operation, transistor as an amplifier operation, we always base emitter junction is forward bias, base collector junction is reverse biased. This you have to keep in mind, right? We have two junctions. So base emitter, this is your base, this is your emitter, this is forward biased. It's on what transistor is it? Again, I can write it here for your convenience. This is N, P, N. Okay, this is positive and negative. So we can see if the voltage side P is positive, N side is negative, means we can say it is forward biased. Similarly, this is an NPN transistor. Here P is negative, N is positive. So your base collector junction is reverse biased. How this is done? This is done by applying external voltages. These two DC voltage source or battery symbols help to do that, right? So base emitter is forward biased, collector base is or base collector junction is reverse biased. Similarly, this is for an PNP transistor. For a PNP transistor, again the base emitter is forward biased. This is P, so it is positive here, negative. This is an NP, PNP. So here P is negative, so this junction, base collector junction is reverse biased. Okay, so this is about the for an amplifier operation. Remember that base emitter junction should be forward biased, base collector junction is should be reverse biased. This is for both NPN and PNP transistor. Next, we will look at the transistor currents. Right? We have three terminals. Any transistor BJT will have three terminals. One terminal is your emitter, base, and collector. Right? So the convention is that the emitter current is called the total current. Okay, the total current which is flowing inwards is equal to base plus collector current. Base current plus collector current. Okay, right? That is what. See, this is the whole current direction. Whole current is direction from P to N. Conventional current is opposite. This is the direction we follow in your circuit analysis, right? Okay, this direction opposite. So emitter current is flowing inwards. So base and collector is flowing outwards. So we would have learned that Kirchhoff's current law. Incoming current is equal to sum of two outgoing currents. What are the outgoing currents? Base is outgoing. Collector is also outgoing, right? Base current is outgoing. Collector current is outgoing. So IE is equal to IC plus IB. Now we look at this. This is a PNP transistor, right? So PNP transistor, emitter current is flowing outwards, base and collector current is flowing inwards, right? So it's again IB plus IC equal to IE, right? So this is the transistor current. Always emitter current is a total current, which is a combination of collector current and base current. Now we have to note on few things like base current is very small. This you have to keep in mind, right? Base current is very small, okay, when compared with IC and IE. Next, we will look at the, we have two parameters. One is your alpha DC, another is your beta DC. Alpha DC is IC by IE, collector current, ratio of collector current and emitter current. Beta DC is IC by IB. Okay, right? Now you know IB is very small, so IC and IE are nearly equal. So IC equal to alpha times IE. Alpha is very close to 1, that is 0.95 to 0.995. This is the relation. Okay, right? So this relation you have to know. Collector current is equal to alpha times IE. Another is collector current is equal to beta times IB. Beta is a large quantity, that is 20 to 300. Okay, it depends on the transistor, it is going to vary. Now we also see what is the relation between alpha and beta. Okay, now down here, alpha is equal to beta by 1 plus beta. Similarly, beta is equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha. These two things you have to know. Okay, along with this relation. Next, we will be seeing about the transistor voltages. Right. For that, we will take a simple transistor circuit, which I have biased here. Why it is called biased? External voltage is given for a transistor means the circuit is biased. Okay. Now the output, see what is this? Is the collector. VC is the collector voltage. That is collector to ground. Collector to ground. What is the current flowing? What is the current flowing? Current flowing is from current flowing is this is the collector current. Sorry. This is the collector current, right? So this is the voltage, right? So if I want to write Kirchhoff current law for this loop, it is minus VCC this IC into RC plus VC. So okay, so keep VC this side, take IC RC to the right side, VCC to the right side, we'll be getting this, right? Similarly, you apply Kirchhoff, this is your base current IB, right? So if you apply Kirchhoff voltage law for this loop, it would be minus VBB plus IBRB plus VB. So VB, keep the other terms to the other terms to the right side, we get this. Okay, right? Note that VB is VE is connected to ground, so VE is 0. VB is nothing but VBE, base and emitter voltage, that is very close to 0.7. If it is a silicon transistor, VBE or VB in this case, okay, because E is 0, so VBE and VB are the same, is approximately is equal to 0.7 volt. This is how we will be deriving the collector voltage and base current for this given circuit. This is an example. Okay, circuit can be of any form. For that, you have to apply Kirchhoff voltage law to solve it. Okay. Right. Now we will look at some configurations. This is the common emitter configuration. We can see here. Maybe I have to write it for you. It's not. Yes. So this is your collector current. This is your base current. This is your emitter current. This is your VBB. This is your VCC. This is your base, collector, emitter. Similarly, this is your VBB. This is your IB. This is your IC. This is your IE. This is your emitter, base, collector. This is your VCC. I think just because of I have taken from the book. Okay, just overwriting. Right? If you have the book, you can follow it easily. Okay. This configuration is called common emitter, right? Why it is called common emitter? Emitter is connected to ground, while the input you have given a voltage VBB, output side you are taking you are giving another voltage VCC. Okay, this is called common emitter configuration. This is for an NPN transistor. Similarly, for a PNP transistor, I have to ensure that base emitter junction is reverse bias, so this voltage is negative. Again, this voltage is also negative. Remember, for an NPN transistor, both the voltages are positive. Here it is negative. This is also negative, right? So, if you take a transistor, what happens? As you seen earlier, emitter current is flowing outwards. Base current and collector current are flowing inwards. Here, for a PNP transistor, emitter is flowing inwards, base and collector are flowing outwards. Okay, this configuration where emitter is connected to ground, base is the input, the collector is the output, is called common emitter configuration. Okay, in common emitter configuration, I will be having two things. One is the collector characteristics. This is the collector characteristics. This is the base characteristics. In collector characteristic, I will be plotting collector current versus VCE. That is collector current versus VCE. What is VCE? This is my VCE, collector to emitter voltage. So if I am this collector current versus VCE, if I am plotting, then that is called collector characteristics. What about base characteristics? In base characteristics, I will be plotting base current versus VBE. What is base current? This is the base current. So this is your VBE, base emitter voltage. Okay, right. Now if you look at this, first you will see the base characteristic. It's simple because the base emitter is like a diode. Okay, so base emitter voltage is the voltage across the diode. Okay, and base current is flowing is a diode. So if you look at the characteristics, it is like a diode characteristics, right? Base current and base emitter like a diode characteristic for various VCE. I have to change the VCE. First I'm keeping at 1 volt, then 10 volt, VCE as 20 volt, nearly the same characteristics I'm getting, right? For the collector characteristic, what I'm doing is I am plotting IC versus VCE for various IB, for various IB base current values. These are the base current values. We can see up to some extent, then it will be constant. As you can see here, the base current is very small. We can see it is in microampere range, and the collector current is in milliampere range. So what is the difference between microampere and milliampere? 1000 times it is larger. Okay, so collector current is nearly 1000 times larger than the base current, right? So this is the collector characteristics and base characteristics of a common emitter configuration. Next we'll move into common base configuration. In common base configuration, base is connected to ground, emitter is the input, collector is the output. Okay, right. Here we can see this is your this is between the emitter current and VBE, emitter current and base emitter. Okay, this is the base, this is the emitter. So it's like a diode, it's like a diode characteristics. Okay, so here now the calculation between the collector current and VCE sorry VCB, collector current and VCB is the collector base characteristics, right? We have a constant. So see, I am for this characteristics I have plotted IC versus VCB. What is constant? At IE constant. These are the IE values. We know IC and IE are nearly equal. So this is 7 milliampere, here 7 milliampere. You can see a straight line. Okay, since emitter and collector are nearly equal, so output is equal to input, right? We have a current gain for this configuration as 1. The last configuration, this is used for common collector. It is used for impedance matching. Okay, here you can see the collector is common. Input is given to the base, output taken at the emitter. Okay, this is the common collector configuration. Right, now we move into the biasing circuit. Particularly, we are going to design an amplifier circuit using common emitter configuration. For that, there are so many types of biasing is there. One important type of biasing or single stage biasing is your voltage divider bias. Okay, so this is your transistor, NPN transistor, and this 4 resistance, if you connect like this R1 and R2, RC is connected to the collector, RE is connected to the emitter, and this is your VCC. This configuration is called voltage divider bias configuration. Okay. Now we can see that what is the base voltage, right? You will observe one thing, the current flowing into the base is very small. That means R1 and R2 are nearly, they are in series. So if the total voltage is VCC, what is the voltage across the base? By applying voltage divider rule, I can write total voltage VCC into corresponding resistance R2 divided by R1 plus R2. That is your base voltage. That is your base voltage, right? And what about the emitter voltage? Emitter voltage is equal to base voltage plus this VBE. VBE is 0.7. So VB minus 0.7. Okay, so this is the voltages, the voltage analysis. Now, if you look at this, I have given some values instead of R1, R1 I given 10K these values, right? Now, if you want to plot these characteristics is your output characteristics between the collector current and VCE. right? So that you can see for various IB values. But for a given circuit, there will be a fixed values of IC and VCE. These values are called operating points. So ICQ and VCEQ for a single IBQ. Okay, so this characteristics is all, these lines are all for the entire transistor for different values. But if you connect a circuit with this VCC as 24 volt, these specific values of resistance, we will have a fixed value. Okay, how we draw this line is called load line. The load line where it is cutting is called Q point. The Q point is nothing but this point is ICQ, this point is VCQ, the corresponding IB is IBQ. Okay, how to draw this line? I will help you how to draw this line, right? So if you look at this line, to draw a line, we need at least 2 points, right? So we make a point here. Okay, what is this point? In this line, we can see that IC is 0. IC is 0. When IC is 0, what happens? IC is 0, this IC into RC, so the voltage drop here is 0. IC and IE are nearly equal, so this voltage drop is also 0. So VCE is equal to VCC. Can you get this? The voltage drop when IC is 0, this is 0, this is 0. So VCE is equal to VCC. So what is VCC? 24. So VCE equal to 24. That is called cutoff. Cutoff means IC equal to 0. First point we got. Next is we are going to keep and get this point. What is this point? For this point, VCE is 0. On this line, VCE equal to 0. When VCE is equal to 0, when VCE is equal to 0, what is this current? IC saturation. IC saturation is total voltage is VCC divided by RC plus RE. RC plus RE. So 24 divided by 470 into plus 220. If you get, you will get 34.8 milliampere. This is your IC sat. Similarly, I can write also this VCE cutoff. VCE cutoff equal to VCC. Okay, so we have got these two values. Now, if you can connect these two lines, two points using a straight line, the point at which it is cutting is called operating point or Q point. Okay, so for this transistor, for any transistor configuration, this ICQ and VCEQ for a particular IBQ should be constant. This point is called Q point. Why it is called Q point? Q stands for quiescent. Quiescent means silent. It should not move. It is fixed. Now DC biasing is ready. For an amplifier, we have to have a DC bias. So bias voltage is there, resistance is there, operating point is fixed. Okay. Now the important thing is for an amplifier, what we need? We want to amplify an analog signal. So the input is coming here, output I am taking here. So this circuit is the complete circuit. The previous circuit, what we are seeing here is only the DC part. Only the biasing circuit we have seen, right? This circuit has both AC and DC part. Okay, this is an analog signal or AC signal, right? So this circuit is a common emitter. Okay, so we can see here the same load line. Here base is varying. See where the signal is coming. It is coming into the base. We know base is only microampere. So when this is increasing, automatically collector current will also increase. When base is in microampere, collector current is in milliampere. So that is what we say amplification is taking place. Okay, so we can see base is varying from microampere range, collector is varying from milliampere range correspondingly. So when the base current, this is base voltage is varying like this, or base current is varying like this, output collector current will also vary like this, but it will be varying in some 100, 200 times or 1000 times better than the base current. Okay, this is called amplification concept. Right now, we will be doing finding some of the important parameters. For this, we are going to do the AC analysis. For the AC analysis, what we do is we remove the, for AC analysis, this voltage, so DC voltage source removed. So this is what removed means, this becomes zero. Capacitor becomes short circuit. Okay, for AC analysis, if you want to do AC analysis, what you have to do is we are removing the DC voltage source. For AC, capacitor is short circuit. So this is short circuit. It means RE becomes zero. Okay, so this is short circuit. This is connected to ground. So what happens though? This is also short circuit. Okay, so the base R1 is going to ground because for AC analysis your VCC is connected, VCC becomes zero. Okay, that's why from the base you can see R1 and R2 is connected to ground. This ground is called AC ground. Okay, right. Similarly, this has become to ground. RE is there. Now since capacitor short circuited, we can remove RE for our analysis purpose. So this is called AC ground. Here RC is going to VCC from the collector. From the collector, what we did, because of zero, I have this coming to zero potential. Okay, so this is your V in. From the collector, I am taking V out. Right, V out. Now we will see what is the output voltage. Output voltage is nothing but this is the collector current. Output is collector current into RC. What is VB? VB. VB is nothing but V in. VB is nothing but V in. Is nothing but RE plus RE. Okay. So what is the voltage gain? Voltage gain is V out by V in, output by input. So if you divide these two, we will be getting this. So RC plus RE. Next, what about this voltage gain? Suppose if RE is very small when compared with RE, I can ignore this RE. So small RE will be present. And this RE is the AC resistance, that is 25 millivolt by capital IE. Okay. Then what about the phase inversion? We know phase current is coming this way, right? Collector current is also coming inside, right? So if you look at the output waveform, output is also coming inside. So they are in phase inversion. Base and collector current are for phase inversion. So there will be an 180-degree phase shift in common emitter configuration. These are the input resistance derivation. Okay, this is the total input resistance. This is the current gain. Current gain is IC by I source. The power gain is voltage gain AB into AI. Okay, this is regarding your common emitter configuration. Okay, right. I hope you learned something useful from this video. You refer those books for further ideas. Those books are carrying one more question also. That would be helpful for you in fine tuning your learned skills. Plus, lot of real time examples and real time circuit analysis techniques were also explained. Do learn from the textbook. Thanks for listening. Jai Hind.